The meeting is now being recorded. I just have one other person that's trying to get in now. So you guys can definitely start your presentation now. Once again, I would like everyone to just bear with me. You will be on mute until they finish their presentation. Once they have finished, that is the time we will open it up to questions, comments, concerns, and then I will unmute everyone in the chat. If you would like them to re-go through their presentation, that is something that they can definitely do.
So
Pretty sure.
Jeysaun,
Yes, sir.
will you be running the slideshow, or should I share my screen to do that?
I'll allow you to do it just so it's easier for you guys.
Okay, let me pull that up quickly then.
And just to confirm, the closed captioning is working.
So I'm going onto the settings right now to try to see.
Okay. All right. It's a CCC requirement for the ADA, Americans
Yeah,
with Disability Act. So it just, I want to make sure that it's there.
No worries at all.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I think Shabnon is trying to get on.
All right, 1 second while I figure.
Okay. Oh, didn't realize I had the screen share. Okay.
Josh, 1 second. We're just sending a link out to a couple people.
Okay. Does everyone see this slideshow that I have up?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Josh, ready when you are.
Okay. Jeysaun, are we good to go?
I have just found how to do it. Give me
I'm
1
sorry?
second. I just found how to do closed captioning.
Okay.
It's such a roundabout way. Sorry about this. All right, so it should work from here. All right, so it's still not coming up as I'm talking. Ridiculous. I don't know why this isn't working. I have the option on. Does anyone else see it on their screen? I'm looking on my phone and I don't see it.
I don't see it. No.
turn it back. Anything now?
No, I don't see anything. Josh, do you see anything?
I don't, but I have the screen share up. So maybe it's an option for people to turn on themselves.
That may be it. It's not working.
So it looks like there's an option you can do under Meeting Center Preferences Tools.
Yeah,
And you
I
can-
have it on it. I don't know
Okay.
why it isn't popping up.
Okay.
I don't know if, I don't think it wouldn't be an issue with the computer.
No.
So now that the screen shares came off, it's still not working?
I don't
See it.
see. Perhaps it's something that someone can turn on themselves.
Because I definitely want to make sure this is up before you guys start your presentation.
As do we.
Josh, how do we add
Oh, so-
Tabnon as a panelist?
We will add her. I think we need to just make sure we get this set up. That's something Jeysaun can do.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. It's not the presentation that isn't popping up. It's the closed captioning. So anyone that wants to read what is being said, it would be displayed on the screen.
Right.
Because I'm not going to close out of this meeting.
Yeah.
And we went to the meeting menu, meeting option window. Jason, you went to the meeting option window.
So I think I may have found a way to be able to do it. I'm gonna
Great.
close this and open it separate again. Hopefully this will. Just hope this doesn't log me off. All right. So now I'm just gonna turn it off and try turning it. Please. All right, so I've turned it off. I just switched it back on. Can anyone please tell me if you can see it?
I don't see anything.
God.
Jason, do you see anything?
I do not, and I'm on 2 devices, which is why I'm not sure why this isn't working. But it's like it wouldn't be the issue with the device.
Right. I think perhaps we need to restart the meeting. Is that possible with the same link?
I'm not too sure. I wouldn't think so. I think after I close it, it would be done.
Okay.
Couple of folks saying that they can see the closed caption.
They can.
Yeah, let me just, I guess we should ask,
If anyone can see the closed caption, can you definitely type it in chat for a second, please? I'll turn it back on. And though I don't see anything, if you could just let me know if you see it. I haven't received anything from anyone in chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Dora just said not seeing anything now.
Yeah.
So Lorraine, it's just logistical reasons on why the closed captioning has to be on for the meeting. We just don't want any potential, issues around it.
Yeah.
All right, still nothing?
I don't see anything.
Okay, I'm gonna try to join the meeting from the other browser and see if I can change it from there. Hopefully it doesn't log me off.
Okay.
All right. Now,
All right, let's go for it. My understanding is they'll add captioning to the YouTube when this is posted afterwards as well. So we'll have that covered. That makes sense, Jeysaun?
sounds good. I'm gonna take myself off the second one because I'm hearing crazy echo.
All right. So I'm going to go back then to sharing the presentation, and we will proceed.
Jeysaun, maybe if you could just leave the closed captioning on just in case it starts working.
Definitely will do.
Okay. There we go. All right. We have it.
I can see
Okay.
it.
Okay. And Jeysaun, I think there's Shabnan Manashrami also needs to be added as a panelist. And having said that, if Carlos wants to proceed, if that's okay with you, Jeysaun, we'll get started.
All right, I have just fully joined back. There's no echo, right? I removed myself
we're
from
good.
the other side. Okay, good. I'll promote him to panelist now. They will go through their presentation, and then after that, I will take everyone off mute. And if anyone needs them to go through their presentation again, they can. And that'll be your time to ask any questions, concerns, and you will be off mute. All I ask is that everyone respects everyone else and no one's speaking over each other, no one's arguing during the meeting, and we just show everyone the same respect that we would want shown to ourselves.
Okay.
So with
Thank
that, I'll
you.
turn it over to Josh.
All right, great. Well, I'm actually really just going to operate the slideshow here. Carlos, take it away.
Thank you, Jeysaun. Right time, Roxbury at the right place. 2363-2365 Washington Street in Roxbury, Mass. is our location. Next slide, Josh. Why are we here? In 2016, Boston residents, 62.6%, voted in favor of legalizing adult use marijuana. We are offering Roxbury a cannabis dispensary directly in front of Nubian Station, the heart of Nubian Square's commercial district. Our location is on a non-residential strip, 3 stores down from Silver Slipper, directly across from Arizona Pizza and Bank of America. In addition to being in front of Nubian Station, we have secured an exclusive agreement with Mr. Bailey's parking lot and are the only cannabis dispensary that has dedicated parking in Roxbury. So customers can park in Bailey's lot and walk over to our dispensary for free. Next slide, please. Our mission is to revitalize and restore Nubian Square into a destination district. Accomplishing this mission requires building diverse businesses that attract customers from all walks of life. Our business will play a significant role in supporting people and community benefits that will improve the quality of life in the square through our relationship with community partners. Next slide. Who we are. So I was born in Roxbury, raised in Dorchester, spent the bulk of my career working in affordable housing as a real estate developer, local entrepreneur, and I'm the owner of the property where the dispensary will be located. Next slide, please. Ownership structure. So our dispensary will be the first that is 100% owned by someone born in Roxbury. It is the most reflective of demographics impacted by the war on drugs. We're a social equity applicant. We have no partners. You are our community partners. We have no investors, and we are accountable to our community and not to shareholders. We own the property, and our location will not displace or reduce the current space of a small business in our district, and the building is currently vacant from a past fire. Next slide, please. This is an aerial view of the location. If you see the red dot, that's the actual location, and right in front of it is Arizona and Nubian Square Station. Next slide, please. This is a front view of the building, currently boarded right now, and this is from, if you're in the station by Arizona Pizza, this is a view of it. That's how close we are from Nubian Square Station. Next slide, please. This is a floor plan, so our total square footage is 2,400 square feet. We have 1,200 square feet of patient space, 1,200 square feet of retail. So it's a small, manageable size, nothing too big. We think appropriate for the location. Next slide, please. Why is this the best location? So we are not near any school zones. We're not requiring a variance from another location. We are directly in front of the station. Most importantly, we have parking. And lastly, in the next 2 to 5 years, over $700 million in construction will affect Roxbury and the square. Our location will not be a part of this disruption. Next slide, please. We value honesty, transparency in our neighborhood. 4 years ago, when we looked into cannabis dispensaries, we felt that Nubian Square was not ready, so we delayed this option as long as possible. Our belief is that the square is not fully ready. It's a lot closer than it was, but not 100%. The Long Island Bridge's closure has caused a rise in the number of people in the square, and COVID has placed both financial and emotional strains on our community. So we're asking you, our community, to give us in the square more time by selecting a team conscious of the current climate in the square. We want to work together and collectively to prepare so we can open in the most successful and positive way that improves the quality of life in the square. So tonight we're here to listen, to learn, to collaborate, and then execute right time Roxbury at the right place. Next slide, please. Community and civic engagement. So our track record reflects our community commitment. I've been the treasurer of Roxbury Main Street for the past 7 years, been a board member of Board in Geneva for the past 7 years, and below is a list of some of the organizations that we've donated to in the last 7 years. Cape Verdean Association of Boston, Hope for Children of Haiti, Orchard Gardens. We're big on the annual holiday party the last 8 years. We donate the bikes that are raffled and the scooters. We've also donated over 6,000 books in the past 8 years. We also donate to the Stepping Stone Foundation, of which I am a prior scholar. Next slide, please. So we have a proven history of working with Boston. We've been recognized by the Mayor's Office, Boston Police, and the Massachusetts State House for our work and contribution to the community. Our store in 2018 was designated Business of the Year. We received in Board in Geneva, Boston Police Certificate of Appreciation, and from the Black and Latino Legislative Caucus, we've been awarded for our work in affordable housing. Next slide, please. How will the community benefit? We will use 10% of our profits to create a fund to support community organizations in Roxbury and Dorchester, including but not limited to Roxbury Main Streets, Board in Geneva Main Street, Eggleston Main Street, Noah's Advocate, Arts and Cultural Mural Project, which we originally launched with Joyce Stanley and now in collaboration with Kai Grant of Black Market, a Black men's group which supports programs that foster mentorship for men in our community, simple things like advice, interview prep. We were already engaged and donated to Cultivate Ed in collaboration with the Urban League and are hiring from within their first graduating class. We are a Corey-friendly company, and we will hire within the community as we already do, and we'll be working with Malia Lazu to develop the most impactful diversity, equity, and inclusion program. Next slide, please. Pathways to homeownership and small business mentorship. Shabnam, do you want to jump in and speak about this?
Yes. So Marshall Law has partnered with Right Time Roxbury to create this home ownership program that would allow 3 first-time home buyer classes through the course of the year, and we will pay up to 6 people's attorney costs, just so that we can encourage home ownership in Roxbury for Roxbury residents. We'll also partner with lenders and community brokers such as Marquise. I'm not sure if he's on, but Marquise, if you are, you can say a few words. Is he on?
Marquise, are you on?
I'll just continue. So Marquise enjoys giving back to the community by providing guidance and mentorship to young students. He helps with first-time homebuyer programs, and he will be definitely a resource with this home ownership program. In addition, we're going to organize small business mentorship circles, and we're going to talk to the residents and communities in collaboration with Roxbury Main Streets. In addition, we're going to work with landlords and tenants and getting leases and whatever they need. So we're excited to work on this partnership.
I think Marquise is muted. Jeysaun, if you can unmute him.
Marquise is all good to go now.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeysaun. Hey, how's it going, everyone? So we partnered with Right Time Roxbury. So I'm currently a broker in the Roxbury area. I have a heavy presence in Roxbury currently, from Dorchester, and currently a resident of Roxbury at the moment. Generational wealth is huge. It's a huge goal, not only for myself, but everyone that's involved with Right Time Roxbury as well. So being a part of this actual establishment will allow us to not only expose potential home buyers and let them know what programs are out there, but we'll be able to offer not only closing cost assistance, but additional assistance in the home search, especially in the market right now where it's a bit challenging. There's a ton of resources out there that we can provide and be a big help with. So looking forward to it, and it's definitely going to be a huge pathway to home ownership once we get this going.
Thank you, Marquise. Next slide, please. Elderly services. So Central Elderly Services down the street from us, and we're going to provide express lane services to the elderly and guided shopping. In collaboration with the residents, we will sponsor 2 events a year hosted by the Residents Association for the 59 tenants that live a few doors down from our location. Next slide, please. Omar, delivery service. Omar, are you on? Can we unmute Omar, please?
Will do.
Hello.
Omar, you're all set.
Okay, all right. I was muted. I apologize. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Omar Lawrence. I am a longtime Boston resident, born and raised in Dorchester, attending the MECO system via Brookline. I also attended Howard University, coming back to attend the local 103 IBEW. After following that, I opened up a local fish market. Some of you might be familiar with it, known as Bobby Fish Market. I plan to do the delivery service for this dispensary and all causes, upcoming ventures in the cannabis industry. I am an economic as well as a social equity applicant with the city of Boston. I have a location on Christopher Street in Dorchester, which we are currently simultaneously going for a HCA as we currently speak to be able to do the dispensary. My goal is to alleviate some of the stress of the traffic and the congestion of the parking. This way we can deliver to some of the local people that can't seem to get out or don't want to lose their parking spot. We all know how parking goes in the Roxbury area and how congested it's getting, especially with them eliminating a lot of parking with the bus lanes. So that is my goal as a company, to help alleviate some of the stress and make this as smooth and easy for the resident as possible.
Thank you, Omar. Next slide, please. All delivery vehicles will contact our on-site security personnel when they are 30 minutes from arrival. Security will patrol the exterior of the store and the back alleyway, and if there are any identified risks, will instruct the vehicles to divert from making the delivery. Security will greet the delivery vehicle and will remain with the vehicle while our staff unloads and confirms the delivery exactly matches the manifest. All delivery vehicles will be staffed with 2 agents. One will always remain in the vehicle while it contains marijuana products. Delivery routes will be randomized. Product will not be visible and will be sealed, labeled, and in tamper-resistant packaging. All deliveries will be video recorded and video will be retained for 90 days. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Can you not see these, Carlos?
I don't see the next slide.
Okay. Do you have this one? Security overview?
Nope. Let's see. Yeah, I have security overview. Um, Security overview. The safety and security of our customers, staff, and the public are our highest concern. The success of our retail establishment depends on creating a welcoming and safe environment for all who interact with our businesses. Wendell Delk is our security contractor for this location and will be ensuring the safety of patrons and residents that are going and coming from our establishment. Wendell is from Mattapan and currently provides security for high traffic venues in Boston. His security staff will monitor the entire block to help address any issues. With this additional security on our block and in collaboration with MBTA Transit Police and Bank of America Security, we now have 4 blocks in Nubian Square that are being monitored. And I think that's going to make a significant improvement in the quality of life down there. We have a zero tolerance policy for diversion, on-site consumption, or loitering within the immediate neighborhood, instituting a permanent ban list for any violators. Security staff will be the first to arrive and the last to leave our establishment every day and be fully trained in prevention of crime to ensure the safety of our customers, employees, and neighbors. Wendell, if you want to chime in a little bit about yourself and the company before we jump to the next slide. Can we unmute Wendell? We lost Wendell. We'll keep moving to.
Wendell should be good.
Wendell, are you there? All right, we'll move on. Security and ID verification.
Hi, Carlos, I'm here.
Oh, Wendell, thank you.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I just want to say that I'm from the Mattapan area. I did a lot of journey through Roxbury as a youth going to Boston Latin Academy, and when it was Dudley Station, traveled through there to go to and from school. I attended Roxbury Community College, so I'm very familiar with the area. And it's a pleasure to partner up with this venture. And the reason why is because it's going to provide another method of security for the neighborhood, for the community, and working in collaboration with the Transit Police, Bank of America Security, and with the Boston Police Department. This should be a very good project, and I look forward to this being a successful venture. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendell. Security ID verification. So we will meet or exceed all local and state security requirements and adhere to strict compliance with all laws and regulations. Security will perform on-premise verification of identification for all customers and guests utilizing ID Science's state-of-the-art technology for secure ID confirmation before they enter the premises. This is the same technology utilized by Massport at Logan Airport. Customers' identification will be re-verified once again at the time of purchase. Next slide, please. Protecting youth from accessing product. We are committed to doing everything possible to prevent diversion of product to minors. All employees will first pass strict background checks and complete security and safety training. Prevention of diversion begins with training our employees and educating our customers. Employees will sign an acknowledgement that any diversion of product will result in immediate termination and notification to local police. We will provide educational materials and signage in the store for customers to remind them that diversion of product to minors is illegal. We will report any customer seen diverting product to minors to the local police and will institute a permanent ban of the customer from our store. We will have no product that is packaged in a manner to be attractive to minors. All product will be in child-resistant packaging. Customer will be provided with education on safe storage and consumption of cannabis products. And we have committed to our neighbors to have a signage at the exit door highlighting public consumption is illegal. Next slide, please. Employment plan. So we are an equal opportunity employer dedicated to hiring local and diverse talent. We understand that our hiring and personnel policies are a crucial part of attracting, retaining, and promoting the most qualified individuals with a variety of life experiences. So our employment overview is that we're not just creating jobs, but career. We have a focus on Boston residents and compensation that exceeds any living wage. Our staff will have access to all of our community benefits and our Pathways to Home Ownership program. We will work with our community organizations, City of Boston Career Center, Cultivate Ed, and advertise in the Dorchester Reporter and Bay State Banner for recruitment. So we're looking to hire between 16 and 20 people. We're going to establish mentorship program. I'm big fan of mentoring program. I have a lot of mentors to help train our employees for career advancement. We have a commitment to promote from within, and we're looking to provide competitive wages with a minimum of $16 per hour. And we have a big focus on diversity and inclusion. Next slide, please. Our supporters. So who is supporting this? We actually have more supporters than are listed here, but our location is the orange. So we have support from all of our direct abutters. Most of them are in blue. There's a few that we weren't able to highlight after the fact. We have letters of support, signatures of support from our direct abutters. We can honestly say that on our entire block, everyone is in support of this. The yellow is non-opposition. That's Caliano's Insurance and the Guscott family. Not shown here, but Central Elderly Services in non-opposition. And then, everyone around this area we reached out to a long time ago. Next slide, please. Businesses and landlords in support. Here's just a list of just a few of them that are in support right now. Silver Slipper, Unisex Hair Salon, Joe's, Fire Code and Design, Chris's Custom Countertops, Tropical Foods. We listed a few landlords that we all spoke with, the Di Pasquale family, it's the Matos family, Tula, Pilates, Klaus Kemmel. We went as far as Maxine on St. James. Non-opposition we mentioned. Next slide, please. So elected officials in support and neighborhood organizations in support. So we took the time to meet with a lot of people ahead of time over the last few years to actually garner support before we decided to move forward. From elected officials, City Council at Large, Julia Mejia, City Council at Large, Anissa Savi George, State Representative China Tyler, State Representative Liz Miranda. From our neighborhood organizations, we spent an extensive amount of time meeting with them. We appreciate them and everything that they recommended, their concerns. I think we did a good job of listening and putting this together. We have support from Roxbury Path Forward, Orchard Gardens. We've always been in touch with Orchard Garden through our stores and donating to them. Cape Verdean Association of Boston, and Mount Pleasant Forest and Vine Street Neighborhood Organization. So we spent a good portion of the last few years having conversations, listening, figuring out the best way to move forward with this, as it is a controversial industry. And we want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our elected officials and to all of the neighborhood groups. Again, I'll list them again: Roxbury Path Forward, Orchard Gardens, and Mount Pleasant. Thank you, and the Cape Verdean Association of Boston. Next slide, please. This concludes our presentation and brings us to our Q&A section. My email is listed below, so if there's something that we don't catch at this presentation, please feel free to email me, and I can provide my phone number as well. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
So as stated, that is the end of the presentation. I'm now going to take everyone off mute so that you're able to ask questions. Everyone is,
I'm trying to take all of this information in.
please.
The most. So I'm gonna take this. When China said that she was.
Once again, if you are not asking a question, please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself until you are ready.
This is Kelly Chun. Can you hear me? I have a question.
We can hear you.
Okay. Who are the abutters who supported this?
Silver Slipper, Mr. Lee's, Marcos owns the building behind us, Unisex Hair Salon. I mean, there's a long list of abutters. The Pasquale family across the street, Joe's Steakhouse, Fred Fairfield over at the Social Security building.
Okay, and what does non-opposition mean?
It means that they may not be in favor of the industry, but I have a relationship with them, and they're not going to go and oppose me, but they're not comfortable with giving support for for cannabis. They may have certain feelings or certain experiences with cannabis. So they may go on record in non-opposition versus saying, we don't support you, Carlos.
It's more of a neutral position.
And have you talked to Madison Park or DSNI?
DSNI is a little further away from us. I did speak with Leslie Reed about this. And my understanding, you can reach out to her. She can confirm that is they're going to leave it up to the residents and they're going to stay kind of away from this right now. But I did reach out to Leslie. I mean, they are big presence here in the square.
And have you talked to the Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology? They plan to move in over the course of the
I
next
have
couple.
not. I was working with them to find them space. We showed them a few spaces that they needed, temporary space. When they start their project, they have a home. But I can circle back and reach out to them. I mean, I don't think they're not in the square right now, but you raise a good point. I can circle back, and we were trying to lease them temporary space in the square until they get their construction project. So I can circle back with my contact that was looking at the office space and talk to her about it.
And then my last question is, what is the size? What's the footprint of the business in square feet, and what's the time frame for the development?
So the building is 2,400 square feet. The basement area is 1,200 square feet. The retail is 1,200 square feet. It actually feels a little bit smaller, but it's not a huge space. It used to be Nikki's Fashion Clothing Store. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. So that answers the first part of your question. The second part, you know as much as I do. Everybody that's involved in this knows how long this takes. But I can't sit here and tell you it's going to happen 6 months or a year from now because a lot of things are out of my control. What was within my control was delaying this as long as possible because, a few years ago, the square was just further away from being ready than it is now.
Call from
Thank you.
I'm on a Zoom meeting, but is this something important?
Somebody needs to be muted.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Is it just anyone that has a question jumps in? This is Joe Agapina.
Yes, so if you have a question, definitely, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sharon?
I kind of have just a statement more than a question.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. All right.
Hi, can I just make a comment? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to acknowledge that, I appreciate all of the philanthropy work that you're doing. As somebody who has used some services in terms of the home buying programs, I think that those are some great options that you have in terms of the collaboration and, supporting local community organizations. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you.
All right. This is Joe Agapina again. I just wanted to state I believe that Carlos is a businessman in this community, has been doing business in this community for a while, and everything that he does is in the community, and he lives in this community. And I'm very proud to see a person of color as one person trying to open an establishment of this magnitude. And I couldn't say anything else besides that I support his efforts, and I'm will be happy to see Carlos continue to do business in our community. And he's been doing business in our community, and his establishments are all well taken care of, managed. And so I don't see that he will have a problem managing and making sure that our community is served and get what we rightfully deserve. So I am in full support of Carlos in this position.
If I may jump in right now, this is Robert George, the Executive Director with Roxbury Main Street. And Roxbury Main Street Board of Directors voted to support and endorse the cannabis industry in Roxbury, simply because cannabis business is now legal in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And we have seen the growth of this industry under the watchful eye of the Cannabis Commission, contributing revenues and good paying jobs to the various communities they reside in. We have seen the cannabis operation legally employ local residents and significantly increase shoppers and the various communities they're part of. We work in collaboration with the City of Boston Office of Economic Development to continue to attract diverse mix of business to the district, support the legal business opportunities, especially when they are owned and operated by members of the community. We have done our research and have seen how the cannabis industry has provided increased number of shoppers in the various foot traffic in the various communities they're part of. And we are happy to increase the number of foot traffic in Nubian Square. We know how they're suffering at this point, and there's a lot of effort being made to ensure that we can revitalize Nubian Square. This is just one of the many pieces that we see can contribute to a new vitality to the struggling square, especially when the business owners are currently part of the business environment running legitimate, successful business in Nubian Square. So our board voted to endorse the overall cannabis industry in Roxbury and Nubian Square. I thank you.
Hi, can I, this is Lorraine Payne Wheeler, and I am speaking on behalf of Roxbury Path Forward, which is the neighborhood association that is very close to Nubian Square. We met, our group met with Carlos, and we prefer this particular location because it doesn't have any of the buffer zone problems that another business has. It's not close to schools, and it's, you know, not within the distance of another cannabis business. And the other issue is that he, because it's a space that's closer to the station, I think that we wouldn't have some of the issues with people walking through the neighborhood back and forth from a car, carrying a product that might be stolen from them.
I can hear you. I'm just in another meeting, Pastor Antari. I put it in the chat.
Anyway, so so we are very much in favor of this particular location. We like that he has parking that's dedicated to the business. I'd like to hear perhaps more about whether you've met with the MBTA police, and also there's a park that's just right behind really this business that the people who are renovating it with the city, they spent probably 10 years trying to raise money for this park that is in honor of Justice Gordine. And so I guess it's fine with me that you're going to tell people that they shouldn't consume this as they leave your building. But what's going to happen, and I mean, it has happened. It happened in Brookline, that people leave the building and then they go ahead and go to a local park. So what are your thoughts about that? What are your plans for that if that begins to happen?
So thank you, Lorraine, for the kind words.
Hello. Hi, it's Kelly again. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there are people on the phone line and they can't hear anything. All they hear is music. So if you call the phone number, is there a way that you could hear what's going on in the meeting?
I'm about to try the phone route right now, so just give me a couple seconds, all right?
What you doing?
So I'll try. Can Lorraine, can you hear me, or can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
So we met a few years ago. We met a few years ago with Captain Facey when we were looking at this location and thinking about it. And we were standing kind of in front of Arizona, looking at the location, looking at the station, looking at Bank of America, looking at Citizens Bank. And what we found that could have been of most value His recommendation was private security, obviously, because Boston Police is having a shortage of manpower and some issues with recruitment in the current climate. So we opted to find somebody local to do our security and collaborate on our weekly walkthroughs that we do on Thursday with our community officer, with the transit police, but also to include Bank of America. So the way we looked at it was there's private security at Bank of America, there's the transit police at the station, there's a security guard inside Citizens Bank, but then we would have security not just for our location, but for our entire block. So that would cover Mr. Lee's, that would cover Marco's building behind us, that would cover Silver Slipper, the liquor store, and basically to do loops around. And hopefully, that will deter. And our security guards, we're hoping that over time, it's the same person that can build really a relationship with the community so that when he asks or she asks, please don't do that, or please stop doing that, that it's a familiar face. I think I saw that work well when we had a community officer on the Boulder and Hamilton Street area where I grew up, where it was Omar, and may he rest in peace, that we had for so many years. So I think that kind of, I call it community policing, is kind of effective. Now, with regards to people buying something and smoking in the park, our closest park is in front of B2. I think that's the one that you were referring to. We'd have to look with Wendell to explore how, if he is providing security on our block, how we can also have a lens on what's going on over there. So I think that becomes a question that we need to explore more, but that we want to address. And I don't have the answer for that question right now, but I can tell you that we'll circle back with you and figure out, the best approach.
And can I just say this too? That the last time that we sat through a call about cannabis with the Boston Cannabis Board, the person pretty much opened the meeting by saying that Boston, by law, is going to have about 50 cannabis businesses. And so for us in the neighborhood, we thought that Nubian Square is likely to have a cannabis business. It's likely there are, hundreds of new apartments and condominiums that have been approved already for Nubian Square. So it's likely that they will have a cannabis business. So therefore, we just wanted, it was important to us to go with somebody that we knew, somebody that had a record of that was, supportive and experienced in operating a business in Roxbury. And so that's why we are very much in support of Carlos opening this business. So thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. My name is Zach Breaker. I'm a business owner for 16 years in Boston. I've known Carlos for 20 years. I'd like to make a comment that goes to his character. We went to Tufts University together, where Carlos established the Black Men's Group. He brought diversity to that campus. He was seen as a campus leader. Later on, he was brought back on multiple panels to talk about diversity. He has been asked to speak on every school he's attended to, has asked him for his opinion about the growth of students, of people. He treats people with respect and with dignity. If you ask anyone that's ever worked for Carlos, they will speak about how he talks to people, how he treats people, and how he keeps his word. I've experienced this every single day of the 20 years that I've known him, and I have nothing but good things to say about his character based upon my personal experience.
Thank you, Breaker.
My name is Wendell Dell from Universal Security LLC. And the park that you're talking about, if there's any kind of challenges with the community, I'm quite sure Carlos and I in the Boston Police Department, along with the MBTA Transit Authority, we could come up with some type of measure to ensure the safety of the people that might sit in that park there. So we definitely have our support on the security measure for that park.
Oh, sugar. No.
not added sugar. Thank you.
Yes, John. And you're actually up next. You're one of the only other people who had their hand raised. So I'm just going to let John take the floor very briefly. All right. So, John, you can come off mute and ask your question. John, you're all good. I unmuted you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Just trouble with the mute button. I don't really have a question, just more of a comment. I'm not speaking for the Mount Pleasant Forest and Vine Association, but I am a member, and we've attended a number of these types of meetings. I'm not sure exactly what makes a perfect or a good application for a cannabis license, but you kind of know it when you see it. I definitely see it with Carlos. The other meetings we've attended with other applicants have been combative, contentious, them telling us what they're going to do, not listening to us. I don't see any of that with Carlos. He's listening, he's open, he's engaged, and just I don't know how to say other than I absolutely get the sense that he's going to do the right thing and he wants to do the right thing. It seems like a genuine proposal. And the last thing I'll say is that if part of this process of having cannabis licenses and bringing some wealth into the community is to rectify some wrongs that have gone on in the war on drugs before, is that to give some black wealth to these communities, then the community should be listened to. And I don't feel that the other applicants are listening to us, and I do feel that Carlos is. So I guess that's really all. It's not really a question. It's just a comment.
Thank you, John.
Don't cross that line. Be too late.
Tony, did you have a question or a comment? Oh, no.
Muted by accident. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I have Eric. Eric, I have you with your hand raised, so the floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Eric Liebman. I'm a personal friend of Carlos's and a business partner, and not in this, but in another venture. And I can just summarize quickly that he is true to his word. His commitments on the boards of Main Street and Geneva to show his dedication to the community and giving back. And he's just a wonderful person and true to his word and great for the square. So I know Carlos has a wonderful track record and is going to do a great job. Congrats.
Thanks, Eric.
Mount Pleasant, I see you have your hand raised.
Hi, this is Livette Coney, president of Mount Pleasant Forest and Vine. It's great to hear that so many people are in your corner, Carlos, because I think that you've shown more of a genuine and more of a transparent nature about you. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows, and I'm sure if they have, it's part of public record, they can see the support letter that our neighborhood association provided for you. And it's a conditional one based on 2 items. One item is if, there has to be a cannabis dispensary in Nubian Square, we choose you. If there has to be, because if there's any doubt that anyone doesn't want one, and I think you even alluded to that it wasn't ready, that Nubian Square wasn't ready. So there are people who feel that other neighborhoods should be getting some of these dispensaries, and they should have more of those dispensaries than we do, because we got the onslaught of liquor stores, and so they should get those. But if we have to have it, that was one of the conditions that we choose you. And then the second one was to make sure that you follow through with all the community benefits that you outlined in our meeting for the Mount Pleasant Forest and Vine Neighborhood Association meeting. So other than that, we look forward to seeing how it moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavette. I think to comment on that, when it comes to community benefits and everything that we outline, we practice transparency. So if we're making donations, there's obviously a check that's written and a check that can be shown for that. And if it wasn't written, then there's a check that needs to be written to somebody else. But in terms of us doing our part with the community benefits package, we definitely are.
About that, I just make sure that I lead others, and so that's what the group wanted, and so just want to make sure that we meet the members and what their needs are, and those are the two conditions, and obviously if you follow those through, then we're in full support.
Thank you.
So I want to go to Candy. I saw that you had put your hand up, and then after Candy, I saw you, Victor. Anyone that's had their hand up, can you please put it down if you've spoken already? You can put it back up if you have something else to say. It's just my way of keeping track.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candy. I am also known as Letty. I have known Carlos for over a decade. I started working for him a few years ago as a property manager, and I'm helping him manage Giants and Dearborn liquor stores. And I'm only looking forward to continue to grow. And I would like to say that Carlos is simply an amazing person. We all look up to him. He is very respectful. He's very fair. He always makes sure that we all work as a team. And again, I'm looking forward to all of the projects that are coming in the near future.
Thank you, Letty.
Victor?
Oh, thank you. This is Victor Chang. I just wanted to give Carlos my endorsement here. So I am a cannabis licensee here in Massachusetts. And so as an operator, I can tell the community that Carlos is the exact kind of owner operator that you want to see. He's got a proven track record of operating without incidents in a regulated industry already. He's part of the community. He's very active in the community, and he's willing and wanting to be engaged. There are a lot of applicants who will come in that are ultimately, to be honest, are owned by a big publicly traded company, and their motivations are purely profit. Having gotten to know Carlos over the last few years, I can tell you he's really driven by trying to do something good in the neighborhood. So I can only highly recommend, endorse him and recommend that you move forward with him. Thanks.
Thanks, Victor.
I don't have anyone else with a hand up. Imam, I'm going to take you off of mute. You have posted in the chat, so I don't know if you want to speak.
Hi, Ivan.
You're unmuted, okay? Imam, you're unmuted. Yep, we can hear you.
Imam, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you good.
Okay, so you let me chime in now?
You're on, Iman. You are on.
Yeah, well, I wish you all well, and I wish you peace, and I have a couple of statements I'd like to say. I think I said them in the text, but I couldn't get on, so I got kind of frustrated, but I really want all of you to consider the moral elements of this here, knowing that marijuana has never been a thing that's benefited the Black man. And we're right in the heart of the Black community. And before it was, according to state and city guidelines, it was illegal. It's still illegal. And it's still not beneficial to the well-being of the people. People talk about community benefits, a few dollars being passed, but people still, alcohol and marijuana and drugs has never been the threat of the.
I lost Iman.
Imam, we lost your audio. I'm not sure if you can still hear us. I'm not too sure what happened.
I can't hear him either. But I can reach out to him directly offline to catch up.
No problem. If he gets it back on, I'll definitely make the floor available to him. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
This is Kelly again. Were you able to include the people who were on the phone?
Oh, all right, perfect. So for those who were on the phone, as I had set the meeting up and actually took myself out of the meeting, I am currently air quotes not host, even though I actually am host. And I tried joining on my own cell through call-in, and it's saying the host hasn't started the meeting. So for anyone that's through phone that has any questions, I will leave all of my contact information in the chat and make sure that Carlos and the team gets all questions and they're able to have any sort of communication with anyone who needs it.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Hello?
Yep, we hear you.
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Upscale Unisex Salon, endorse Carlos. Carlos,
Thank you,
you
Solomon.
welcomed me the first time I met you. You listened to us, and I support your business. You're very active in the community.
Thank you, Unisex.
Welcome.
Does anyone have a question, comment? No, I'm not seeing any more hands raised. Tomas, I saw your hand go up. You're off mute.
I guess I also wanted to echo the sentiments from earlier. Carlos, a very good man, a good businessman, really community minded. It's from the city, from the neighborhoods, operates, successful businesses in the community. I think he'll do exceptionally well in this endeavor, and has such a demonstrated track record. So I just wanted to wish him well. And as someone who's already operating in the city of Boston, I understand a lot of the issues and concerns that come with, citing a dispensary. So I think not that I can reassure you, but I can assure you from my experiences, he would be an excellent operator.
Thank you, Tomas, for your support.
Rep Liz Miranda, I see your hand. I'm taking you off mute now.
Everyone. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Can
Yep.
you?
We can.
Awesome. So I'm sorry I'm pretty late to this, but I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. One, as a resident of Roxbury my entire life. Two, as a two-term legislator. And then three, as a young adult who's grown up in this community. And I'll start with my personal. I meet a lot of people in my life, and they've made an impact on me, but getting to know Mr. Castillo has been one of the greatest gifts of my career. He came into my office as a constituent when I was running for office, and I was so shocked and surprised that I had not known him before that. And he really made a difference. And he asked me a question about, what I was going to do differently for that community. And I've gotten to know him since that day and his impact on the Fifth Suffolk district. Although Nubian Square is not in my district, it is an extension of my district. And I firmly believe that anything that happens in Roxbury and Dorchester impacts my district. Just because the boundaries are Vine Street to Fields Corner doesn't mean that, particularly when there's a new business down the street from my boundaries of my community, that it doesn't make a difference. And he's been active on so many boards prior to even thinking about cannabis. And I'm a firm believer about three things. You can learn a lot of things in running a business. You can even learn how to be a political leader like myself. But you can't learn heart. You can't learn authentic behaviors. You can't learn sort of transparency and accountability. And that's what I think makes the difference between Castillo and his business and another cannabis business. When the state passed this law a few years ago, I was not an elected official, but I was working the polls that day and saw thousands of young people, mostly Black and brown, coming in to vote for the promise of cannabis. And I heard Imam share that we have had difficulties in our communities, particularly with drugs and with the war on drugs and mass incarceration, and I've lived through it. But the thing that I saw that day was that people believed that when this law was to be passed, that somehow we would help to right the wrongs of what was done to Black communities. And I believe firmly that the state really didn't do that. And it's created a really juxtaposition in communities of color where people who want to see our communities better, who don't believe that cannabis is a tool, and people who do believe, and their dreams are kind of attached to this billion-dollar business about how we can improve our communities and have a piece of this economic pie. The state didn't do their job. And as you can see, we only had one cannabis, although the law passed, only one of color cannabis business in the city of Boston opened a year and some change ago. And so I really believe in Carlos because I think that with the way that someone does one business is the way that they'll do all their business. I think he'll be a partner. He's already on Main Street boards, both in his neighborhood where he was born and raised and resides, and in Dudley Square. He has not pulled out of Dudley Square as many of the other businesses already have. And if I can say we're going to have a cannabis business or the second or the third by a person of color, I would want it to be Carlos. He's someone that picks up the phone when I have a challenge, even when I've had a challenge with maybe something that's gone on with his business dealings. And he's a remarkable young man. So I just want to say that as a leader, we kind of sometimes are pulled in multiple directions based on the interests of all of our constituents. And I've asked around before making my comments. I asked around before I wrote my letter of support. And I just want to add that there have been multiple letters of support from multiple elected officials because we've done our due diligence and we feel that he's the best person for this location. So thank you all. I hope I wasn't too long-winded, but I wanted to share that that this is not just about money or just about politics or law, but this is really about how we can reinvest in our communities, one business at a time. And I know that we have a long way to go with making it equitable because if Carlos gets this, he's a third or fourth, I'm not sure what the licensee numbers are at the moment, but there's supposed to be 50 licenses in the city of Boston. And we're very far from that number. And we're very far from that number equitably across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And so if anyone has any other questions or would like to see the letter or talk to my office, I'll put my email in the chat. But thank you for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Liz. We appreciate you in your office.
Thank you, Liz, for speaking. I have no one else with their hand raised currently. Does anyone else have a question, comment, feedback? Not seeing any new hands or anything in the chat. So I'm going to leave all of my contact information. So final call for any questions, comments.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that came on tonight and all the neighborhood groups and elected officials for their support. We really appreciate it.
Can I make a quick comment for Carlos?
Yes, the floor is yours, Connie. Go ahead.
Thank you. After hearing the imam and knowing that there is some concern about the impact of cannabis on the community, can I ask you to really think about ways that you can address those concerns of the residents who, I mean, again, you're within the law in Massachusetts to open, and you're not, you don't need any type of variances. You are within the all the requirements. However, if you could think about ways to address the concerns of residents like the imam who have seen the devastation that things have caused this community. And I don't know what that would look like, but putting that as a thought perhaps would be good.
I couldn't agree more with you. I actually met with Imam for like 2.5 hours, and it's ironic that it took cannabis to bring us together. And I left there still impressed, and I can't wait to reconnect with him. I actually saw him yesterday, but I am going to be in touch. I know I would never ask or never expect him to be in support of cannabis. But like I told him when we met there, I can promise you that a lot more good is going to come of it than any wrong that's perceived. But I will be reaching out to him. I will be a lot closer, and we will do some great things together. He has something really beautiful going on Shamit, just a few doors away from us, and we're really fortunate to have him. I'm really shocked. I've told a few people that this guy is just great. And it took cannabis to bring us together. And so that's one of the beautiful things about this whole process, despite how long and difficult it's been, but some really beautiful relationships have come from it. And I'm looking forward for the things that we are going to do, even with folks that aren't in support of cannabis. I think we're going to do some great things. I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
I've left my email in the chat. Carlos, do you want to just take the time to do the same? Just so if anyone wants to reach out to you directly.
Yeah, I'll do that right
just
now.
have that as well. Does anyone have any questions, comments, feedback, anything at all?
Just wanted to say that one of the challenges that you should probably recognize is that I've, after talking to so many people in the community, I think then when they voted yes because they didn't want any more Black men to go to jail for having marijuana. They were not, many of us are not versed and civically engaged to know that that also came with dispensaries. So I think that the challenge here for you, Carlos, is to help people to see that even it was voted on and it's legal. However, you have to understand some people voted yes, not knowing that it included cannabis shops and dispensaries. They thought that if a Black man were to get caught with some marijuana on them, they didn't want them to go to jail, so they voted yes. So that's going to be the challenge, is to help people to understand those things, right? Yeah. So.
No, I agree. I think honestly, in our location, the effect may be ambient, but the benefits will far outweigh what we expect.
feel that if anyone is going to benefit from this industry, it should be Black men. 1 out of 3 were incarcerated for it, and 1 out of 17, I believe, Latinx. So those are the 2 groups, demographics, that should be benefiting from this industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Livette. And is there anyone else? Seeing no one else, thank you everyone for being in attendance for tonight's meeting. Thank you, Carlos, and the entire team for being able to present tonight.
Thank you, Jeysaun. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone has any questions or would like to reach out to Carlos and the team at all, he has left his email in the chat, and I have also left mine, and I can connect anyone to him and the team for any questions or concerns. Doing a final look for any hands. I don't see any. All right, so with that, thank you, everyone. Carlos and the team, once again, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Carlos, if you need anything, definitely just send me an email, all right?
I will. Thank you, Jeysaun.
No problem.